Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. My name is Gift and welcome to this video with a voiceover. I'm gonna try to talk slow because I do tend to speak fast. For this video, I would like to talk about a room that I have built back in Halloween 2019 when I have participated in the building contest that VFK has inside the game. I have another video, it's shorter and it shows the process in a faster way. But this one is a producer's cut and I would like to talk more and ramble about it. So why don't we play it in the background and I'll talk over it. By the way, I hope you're all doing well. Okay, here we go. So, in the beginning of the video, you will see that I have stuff in the border, like part of the room. I already have a lot of things that is accumulated there. It's because I always gets ready for a concept. And what I do is I just build my own palette and I leave stuff that I know will be my concept in the future, and that's me partying in the garden. The staff, the developers are there. So when there are releases, and I think that I would use some of them, then I hoard and then I put them in appropriate rooms for my future building. It's just easier that way than me storing them in storage sheds because in this game we could really hoard millions and millions of stuff and we could have so many storage sheds that it's so impossible to keep up sometimes. So dividing the stuff already in different rooms really help. And so for context, VFK has building contest 4 times a year. It's actually fun, so it's seasonal actually. So there's garden, which is spring. There's sandcastle, which is summer. There is Halloween for fall. And then there is gingerbread for winter and Christmas time. So in those season, you can use several themes. So garden is like St. Patrick's, could be Easter, could be Valentine's, and shenanigans, just all accumulated for spring. Then there is sandcastle, summer theme items, resort, all of those stuff. Then there is Halloween, or you could do autumn, fall themes. And then there's gingerbread or winter or Christmas. So here I'm building the skull waterfall that I thought was unique. I mean, I haven't seen anyone do it inside the game. So it was actually expensive. I want to tell y'all that because each skull is like 300 to 500 credits. And the waterfall was just really tall. But I already hoarded those back in 2017 and I spent all my money buying skulls, so it was okay. I think I was just doing scavenger hunt here. Alright, so I love that skull waterfall because also in the Disney remake, you will see they made a river of heads for the Queen of Hearts. So that was my version. So for this, as you can tell, this is Queen of Hearts and she has a political alliance with Headless Horseman. So the two of them together, they want to do more harm and just be as fierce as they want to be. I actually love it. It's so creepy, it's so appropriate, and it's just a match made in heaven. The Queen of Hearts loves beheading people, loves saying, "Off with your head, off with his head, off with her head." And the Headless Horseman doesn't have a head, and he loves throwing pumpkins at people. So, match made in heaven. And the song that I used is Heads Will Roll, and that also inspired this room. And thank you to my friend who suggested that. It was just perfect. Everything just fell perfectly. And I wasn't sure that I was going to use this concept for that year because I wanted to hoard more items. But I think I was ready because some of the current releases at those times too fell into order actually. Like the floating pumpkin head from the antique shop. It was just a symbol for me to do it. Because I was going to do something else, but then all the releases just pointed to that, saying, Gift, do this. Just do it, okay? And I love Queen of Hearts. I mean, who doesn't? But I know I do. I love her, even though she's like so notorious. So for the Queen of Hearts, obviously I will be using a lot of Valentine stuff that I had to trade for, some of them. Especially those heart archways. They're so old, but I managed to find them. There's so many things here I have to look for from old players. So it's all a mix of old and new. And then I had problems with expanding her area. Well, I didn't have problems, but I keep getting indecisive about it. So finally, I just expanded her area, but I made sure to leave some spaces for the Headless Horseman's castle. But the beauty of using a big size room like this is that there's so many things you can do, even if it's just a small space. You could be creative with it still. So originally I was gonna do the Queen of Hearts castle from the movie, but then I thought it won't fit because her castle is just so huge. But also I want to tell a story. So I've decided I'll make her maze of roses. So as you can tell, I used a lot of rose hedges. And since she has that problem with the card soldiers planting the wrong kinds of roses, I will put some paint buckets there later. I didn't get to have the red paint bucket because I didn't have time to trade for it. It's an old item inside the game. So I just have other colors of paint bucket. But that tells the story anyway. So I used a lot of red stuff in the game, from the game I mean, and like those football markers. I thought that was cool because my main concept colors are red, black, white for the Queen of Hearts, and for the Headless Horseman it will be murky brown, blackish, and then some oranges and green. Oranges for the pumpkin color. And most of the items that I've used for Queen of Hearts are from micro quests from the Valentine season. So I made the entryway for the Queen of Hearts using those rose lights, and I love it. It's one of my favorite part of the entryway. And since we have the antique painting of the Queen of Hearts and the King of Hearts, I have decided to put them in the entryway together with the card poster. So the card poster matches with the solitaire panels. Another thing I did with the room is I added some quirky stuff that people could match together. For example, I used a game theme. So the first game that will come into mind is chess. Because as you can see, the raceway rugs, those black and white rugs, are actually racing rugs. They look like chess. They look like a chessboard. So that tells you that something is going on in the room, right? So I like that. I wanted her castle to be like a chess board kind of theme. And then it matches with the medieval things there too, with the checkered red and black. And then the second game that is inside the room is the solitaire. So, okay, so first we have the chess, and then we have solitaire. And then there will be a third game later. That's when I will be changing the maze area. I wasn't happy with it. Like, I just don't want to have a maze area. I feel like it's lacking in story. So later on, I decided I will add the croquet scene, both in movies and in the story, where Alice played croquet with the queen. So yeah, and as you can tell, I didn't use the appropriate paint bucket. You can see a pink paint bucket, a gold paint bucket. It's all wrong, but people will get it. I'll just do it properly next time. And in this room too, I used the rock light, which is from that old rock there, the big rock you see down there. When you type in rock light in the chat area, it's a command for it to turn on, and it makes everything darker. So the ground will be darker later on. It's not this brown. And the reason why I use this room is because I like a black canvas. I like a solid canvas. I could have used a room with grass, but I guess I like to suffer and I like to use turfs. It was already so lag when I was putting down the turfs. And I was like thinking to myself, I could have used a garden football sized room, but I'm stuck with this. Anyway, when I was making the Headless Horseman Castle 2, I just made it simple. Like, it's just a cascading castle from the top to the middle of the room. Then it's just really simple because I did his castle in just one day or like a few hours. I really made time for the Queen of Hearts castle because it has to be appropriate, I guess. And I feel like she will be mad at me. Even though she's not real, she's a fictional character. I still have to give her justice. And here I am, I'm just exchanging junk for cool furniture. So for the Headless Horseman too, I had to put some flickering pumpkins. If some of you don't know, flickering pumpkins are rare inside the game. So to trade for it, you sometimes have to pay a lot for it. Sometimes you don't. Depend on the person you trade. And I hoarded that for a year, I think. Or more than a year. I tried to find all the years, all the pumpkins that have released every year. But I couldn't find everything, and I have so many of 1 year and stuff like that. But it's fine, it's okay. The Headless Horseman will still love it. He loves his pumpkins. So those will be his collection that will be around his castle. And for the Queen's Castle, I'm so glad they did the medieval concept back in sand castles, so I get to use those knights and just everything medieval, like the flags and the turret flags, banners, and those knight figures. That was so timely too. That's why I thought to myself, I need to make this concept. And as you can see there, I have made the croquet scene. And I put all the plush toys, all the animals that was used in the book. I tried to find every animals. Some of them might not be right, to be honest. But yeah. And here I am piling on the walls for Headless Horseman's Castle. I'm using invisible support blocks on some areas because the grid isn't just there and it always falls. So that's a hack. Another hack is to use a lot of turrets if you're doing a really fast castle like I'm doing here. It's okay. The Headless Horseman doesn't care. But even though I'm doing it fast, I make sure that it still looks uniform, I guess. And also, I try to make, not try to make, I try to use different kind of threats so that it's still chaotic. It's still kind of say Headless Horseman, like he doesn't care. And those vines are alien vines, so they're kind of like growing around the castle area, ready to grab you. And all the skeletons are stacked up on each other because it's just a really creepy castle with lots of skeletons. And here I am making him a staircase just like what I did with the Queen of Hearts. So he has his own version. She has her own grand staircase. He has his own little staircase. And then I just used those creepy, gnarly trees to decorate more. Added more turrets, and it was just all easy. Most of the stuff I used for Headless Horseman were actually ride items. But some ride items looks like walls, so why not? And here I'm using a prince on a horse as a headless horseman, and then I put the floating pumpkin head on top of him. I used free move so that it will align perfectly with his head, because I don't know how to actually behead him. There's no way I could do it. This is the closest thing I could do for a headless horseman inspired person, per se. And here I am building the chest. Oh, it's already finished. That was fast. I didn't record much of it, I guess, because it's just laying down tiles. But I had to search a really difficult chess riddle. I googled it, or I binged it because I use Bing. And I actually don't know the solution to that puzzle. I just thought maybe some players will know what to do. They could just solve it themselves. But yeah. And in the tiny little corner off from the chest area is supposedly the forest. But it's just basically just hard rugs and trees. And here I am laying down skulls, putting fractures in the chest area, placing more shenanigans. This is my favorite part, decorating, because I know I'll be finished already. So my friends love plotting out and laying out stuff. Some friends love decorating. I think I love both, but I love decorating more because I know I'm already finished and I can't wait to be finished because it has been such a long project with all the lag and everything. I just wanted it to be over. But after building, you get to judge more rooms. You get to see what other players have done. It's actually so fun. And you have to judge up to 50 rooms. So that's a lot of rooms. That's a lot of creativity to inspire you, make you do more in the next contest. So yeah, it's such a nice community of creative people. That's why I love contest seasons. I keep seeing more things and I just get so inspired. I'm like, oh, I want to do more next time. Stuff like that. Yay! So this is finally almost finished. This is how it looks like when the Queen of Hearts and Headless Horseman have an alliance together because they want to do more harm. Different from doctors who doesn't want to do harm. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this and enjoyed my explanations. If you see me inside the game, say hi to me. Say hi to all of us if you visit the game. And if you get to build really good rooms. Build to your most potential, I guess. That's what I loved about this game. They don't have a lot of inventory and shops. don't have millions of stuff. So sometimes you have to use normal stuff for unconventional reasons and use unconventional stuff for normal reasons. I mean, the sky's the limit. The world is your oyster. Do everything, right? And you will be surprised at what you can do. I'll see you next time. Thank you again for watching. This has been Gift. Bye.